Okay, so the lesson is on relational databases. So I'm simply going to go to my database, create a new database, and I'll call this relational. Which day is today? Friday, ne? Minus Friday minus my name next to it. Okay, with that done, that means I have my relational table or database created for me. Okay, let me see, relational Friday, relational. Okay, I think it should be the last one. No, not really the last one. Relational Friday tender. There we go. I got hold of it. If you can't see, let me bring up the magnifier for you guys. Okay, here is my database. Okay, so we will be working on tables and views today. So if we go to tables, I'm not sure why is my phone thinking I'm speaking to it. Okay, so we're going to create a scenario for ourselves, and there is no better scenario that I can think of besides I'm thinking of a scenario that will allow us to create at least 4 to 5 tables. So let's picture a bank, right? Let's see if we're creating a bank. We'll have let me minimize it so that it's too small to handle. Okay, my PC is still thinking whether to type or not. Okay, we might be having issues with our SQL here. Don't know, there seems to be some funny issues since yesterday. Yeah, we definitely have issues. Definitely dealing with some other external issues, so I'm gonna connect to my local DB. See if it works. Okay, mine works. So what I will do is the following. I'll then go to security and add you guys as users. Okay, SQL authentication. Your password will remain 123. We'll all use Friday as our username, 123. And I'll make sure that you guys on the server rules, you are able to be database creators. Done. What? Oh, I forgot to say don't enforce the password policy. Done. Okay, now on your server management studio, this is how you log in. You will type 10.0.10.125. Capish? So here on your server management studio, because this one is giving us issues. Let's even close it. I will we don't want to deal with it. On Server Management Studio, when you hit connect, instead of the regular server, right, that you are used to, you're going to type what? 10.0.10.125. Ne? Comma 2021. You got that? This is to connect to the internal server that I have on this machine. And then your username will be Friday and your password will also be 123. You got it? I don't want to repeat this again. So it's 10.0.10.152 comma, right? It's no longer a point, comma 2021, no space, username Friday, password 123. Press connect. You should be connected. Okay, once that is done, you can expand. You can see a couple of databases that are here already. That's where you're going to create this new database that we're speaking about. So new database. What were we calling it? Relational minus Friday minus our name at the end. Okay. Then you press OK. I don't understand why you were just sitting without opening Server Management Studio. We said the IP address is what? 10.0.10.152, comma 2021. Your username is still what? Friday. What about the password? 123. Did you log in? Anyone who managed to log in? You are logged in. Okay. These are basically the settings. I don't understand why. Okay, don't forget to say use SQL Server authentication. All right, what happened there? All right. Back to our database, you can see my database has been created. Let me see if others have also created their own database. Okay, it's only me and Teddy. I don't know if you guys are in class or you are asleep. But only me and Teddy have created our database. So I'm not going to wait for you. I'm going to move on. What? What are you saying? Did you log in? Did you log in? So those who are saying it's not working, they are not with us. Okay, you see. Now there's 3 of us. There what? There's no way. That means you're making a mistake either with the details. The most crucial detail you could be making a mistake on is this comma here. 10.0.10.152, comma 2021. I've been screaming comma. But you're still putting points. Others will still not be able to log in after I've given them this clarification. But we can't be left behind because you can't read the instruction. You will watch the video if ever it's uploaded. I don't think I'll upload it because there are people who are not here. We can't give them that freedom. Okay, so once your database has been created, here it is. We're gonna go create tables, and as I said, we're trying to create a banking database system. Okay, so First of all, in a bank, let's picture who's at the bank. So you've got the employee of the bank, you've got the customer, you've got some other relational things that are happening there. So let's start with the employee of the bank. So we'll hit with employee number, and then we know this must be an integer. If I immediately say this is a primary key, the allow nulls will be gone, and then I will deal with setting it up as an identity. And I'm not going to do much, I'm just going to let it be an identity. Then we'll give the full names of the employee as a variable character. We'll go on and say what is the email, and then what is their physical address. Okay, this is also a varchar 50. Let's make everything a varchar 50. Make them have mandatory fields. Okay, so this is a table for an employee number, email, and everything. Okay, not to complicate our life, we're not going to create an employee that have other things. I might as well go and say position of this employee, position ID, right, which will be an integer. Now I don't want to save this table before I finish what I want to do. So you can see I'm including position ID, right? That means there's a table called position, which I don't have currently. So I'm going to go and say create a table for position, which start with position ID. This will be an integer. Same thing happens here, set as primary key, and then scroll down and make it an identity. Others are still struggling to log in. They don't realize how far we are. So we'll just say what is the position here, and then we'll put it as a varchar, maybe 25 instead of 50. Make sure that this is unticked. Okay, that's good. We've got the position and the position ID. Now I can save this table as employee position. That means now this position ID can now be relational. So this is where the whole topic comes from, relational database, where tables are related. So I'm going to add that relationship. This is something we've done before. So from employee, I'm picking up employee ID, position ID, and then here it's also position ID. Done. Close this. I can then save this table as employees. Okay, it's asked me that you are about to make changes that will affect the employee position and the employee. I'll agree to this effect. I now have two tables. If you check here by refreshing, expand, here's my employee table, here's my employee position table. Now, those two allow me to have an employee at the company or at the bank. So now I need to bring on the customer, right? So let's go create a new table where we're bringing up a customer, introducing a new entity called customer. So we can say this is customer. But then now customers at a bank, they are identified by their account numbers, right? So we might as well just go and say, okay, yeah, this is how it will go. Let's go with customer. So we'll say customer ID, which will be of type integer. And then we'll do the same thing. Make sure it's a primary key and set it up as an identity. From there, let's just put the full names for this person. Full names. I don't like doing first name, last name, median name, what. So this will be varchar, and I'll make sure that it's not null. Let's also say we request an email, we request physical address as well. Make sure all these fields are mandatory. What else do we need from a customer? We can also say cell number. Let's also put this as varchar, but instead of 50, this will be exactly 10. What else? What else could I be missing from a customer? Then I can go and say account number of this customer. So account number will be of type integer. Now this is the table for customer, right? You can see I'm linking it up with account number. I don't have account number already, so I'm going to go and create a table for account, which starts with account number as an integer, and this will be set as a primary key, and we'll also make sure that it's set up as an identity specification. Vista? More class in here next to the office. Okay. Sharp. So with my account number, let's say I'm gonna go like bank. My account number will start with 100. Then I'll put on the year is 21, and then I'll put on the month, which month is this? 11, 11, which date is today? 12. I want 10 numbers, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is it 9 already? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm looking for one more number. I can just say 1. Yeah, I prefer 1. Let's just put 1 there. The increment will be 1. Okay, I'm happy with that. No. I'm actually mixing this up. It's supposed to be the seed, and then the increment is supposed to be just 1. Okay, this is for, okay, then I have everything now. Account number, and then we can just say balance of the account, this one as money. Yeah, you can have a seat there. I will attend you just now. So balance, you can see we're putting it as money and it's mandatory. And then we can have, okay, the type of account. Account type. Whether it's saving or something like that, ne? So this will be varchar, and then let's put it as 15. All right, now I can save this table for account as account or accounts, whatever works for you. Okay, and then from there I can then navigate back to the previous table where I had account number and make sure this is now related to that. Now I will be having 4 tables that are speaking to each other right now. So from accounts, we're picking up account number, and then also here it will be account number. Done. Close this session. Save this table. This is for customers. It will ask me I'm saving 2 tables. I will say yes. Done with that one. Now on accounts, so you can see I will say account type ID. Let me just verify this one. Account type ID. Put it as an integer. Let me see if it won't have any effects. Okay, because I want to have an account type, right? I might as well just say type ID instead of account. Okay, that works. One last table will be, if I refresh here, you'll see I have 4 tables. I'm looking for the table for the type now. So there we go, type ID of type integer. Then I can just say what is the type. And then I'll put this as a varchar. make sure that everything is sorted here. Set this as a primary key, and also not forgetting identity specification. So this one will be account type. Now, these are all the tables I have so far. 5 tables, right? 5 tables. Accounts, wherein we have a list of accounts with balance and the type of account. We have a table that holds only the type of account. This is where we'll put things like savings, check, current, and things like that. Ne? Then we've got customers. This is where customer would be listed. Customer 1, 2, 3, 4, and customer feed off from accounts, because a customer must have an account number. We've got employees that must have position, right? So employees and positions are related together, and then these 3 others are related together. So we've got a partial relationship wherein the other tables are not really connected to the other ones, but they are connected to each other. Now, to show you this relationship, when we say relational tables, to show you what happens here, I will need to sort of, I don't think it will work. If I go to views, it usually doesn't work here. Add a new view. You see, it will say index out of bound. So for this, I will need to sort of just log off and log back on using the same details. Okay, let's check 1, 2, 3, connect, and I'll navigate to my database, which is relational Friday Tendo views, right? New view. So you can see all of my tables, and then if I can show you that the relationship is between employee, I'll say add the employee and add the position. Let's see what kind of relationship is this. So this is one to many, right? You can pick it up, right? These are the 2 tables that are connected so far. Now, if I go and say add more tables, and I say show me what is the relationship between accounts, in fact, account type and customers. Is there any relationship between the 2? Then we check it out. We're like, okay, show us the relationship of those 2. And you can see that these are now, they look like standalone tables, right? Because they are not related. But then by introducing the account type, the accounts, in fact, not the account type, in the mix, you can then see that you will then be able to pick up that something was not related to something here. These 2 are supposed to be related, ne? I don't see that relationship. But you can see the customer being related to the account numbers here. So we might want to go and add that foreign key under accounts. Okay, so account is not picking up the type ID. That's where it's getting it wrong. So if we go to the accounts and we go to keys, you can see there's no foreign key, right? So I can add a new foreign key like that. Accounts to accounts, customer to accounts. I will then just say show me a new foreign key, which this one will be coming from in account type. I will be picking up type ID. Here it will be also type ID this side. Save this, close, save this as well. Yes. Then if I go back now to my view and I sort of just clear the results here. Let's see if it will be able to add a new view. Use. Okay, so just like before, if I pull up account type together with customers, there should not be any relationship, as you can see. But these two can be related if we just introduce accounts. Here we go. Still not able to pick it up, but I'm sure in your side it should pick it up. Not sure what went wrong with mine. So those are what we call a relational database. Let me just configure this once more. Account number, I see account number here, type ID, type ID. Then why is it not picking up the account type linked to the accounts? All right, let's check it out once more. Let's go to the design, type ID, relationship, foreign key, accounts on accounts, customer on accounts. Okay, let me remove this one and also remove that one. Just add a fresh one which says from account type we're pulling up type ID, and from accounts it will also be type ID. Close this, enforce the save. Here's the relationship, account type and accounts. Agree to it. Okay, it has been agreed upon. Save everything. No, don't want to save that view. Log out and log in. Okay, I'm back in databases. Mine is this one. Show me a nice view of everything. Let me just pull up everything. Chances are it could have been I think now it's working because I see accounts is being linked with customers together with the account type. You can see now, né? So here is the account type being linked to accounts. At the same time, it's being linked to customer. And we do have those two tables that have been linked together before, which is employees and your employee positions. So these are basically what we call relational database. But then this relationship wherein you don't have end-to-end connectivity, it's usually called partial relationship. You want to avoid this relationship by all means. So what do I mean by that? You can see that employee and employee position are connected, right? But they're disconnected from the rest of the tables. So how do we then make sure that they play part as well? We go and say, how does when you're at the bank and you are making a deposit and the employee of the bank is assisting you, we usually call it a transaction, right? So we're gonna go and create a new table called what? Transaction, which will have the transaction ID, right? And then from this transaction ID, we'll pick who is the employee by picking up the employee ID, who was the employee helping, right? So we can then go and say what was happening here. We pull up the customer. There we go, customer ID. We can even pull up different tables that we don't have, because I'm thinking transaction ID, employee ID, and you know what was happening, what was the employee helping you with. So we can say transaction type. Transaction type. Okay, so let's put this as an ID. Transaction type. Ooh. Okay, I want it as an int. This one also as an int. So many int here. So far it's just integers. Int. Now if we pull up here now and say what is the transaction type and everything, we then say what is this? Should we pull up the date as well? It might be important to find out the date when was this happening, right? So we can say on the date here, give us the date time. Okay, just like that. So everything here we make it like that. So because date could be a reserved word in C# or anywhere else, you might want to say that transaction date instead of pulling up date like that. So let's pick it up as date time instead of date only. Transaction type. Now this transaction ID becomes a primary key here, and then we make it an identity. There we go. Employee ID, customer ID, transaction type, they are all foreign keys, né? But I don't have this transaction type table. So guess what? I need to go create a new table for transaction type. So this will be transaction type ID, which is an int. We quickly go and say set as primary key. Then we can pull up the identity specification. Then here we can say what is the description. Or let's just say transaction type. Transaction type. Instead of ID, we're going to pull up as a type. Pull up as a voucher 15. Okay, make it mandatory. Save this table as transaction type. Done. That means on this table where I have transaction type, everything for me is sorted here. I just need to pull up these three relationships before I save this table as what? As transaction. So I can save it first. Say this is transaction. Okay. And then check how many tables do I have right now. You can see account linked to account type, right? Accounts linked to customers, right? Employee linked to position. The idea is that the transaction types will be mentioning whether it's a deposit, it's a balance inquiry. You get it? So that's where we'll put the transaction type. And then the transaction, that's where we'll pull up who is the employee, who are they helping, with what, on which date. All together there? Okay. Now, after saving the table for transaction, let's go create those relationships for transaction. We'll start with employee. So we'll go and say employee, but we know we need three relationships, so I can add three of them at the same time here and just deal with them. So I've got 1, 2, 3 relationships I must deal with. First one, I come here and I say, okay, you can choose whatever to start with. I can start with customers, and you pull up customer ID. You will also find that it's called customer ID this side. You say, okay. You go to the second one. You pull up the same thing. You're like, this time around I've done customer. Let me pull up the employee. I'm pulling them as an employee ID. Ooh. You see, now we've got a mixture here. The other one, I'm calling it employee ID here. But it's fine, as long as we are able to link them. Then we come here to the last one. The last one will be for what? Transaction ID, right? Which will be coming from transaction type. So we'll pull up transaction type ID. Ooh. Ooh. Which one is it from here? Is it transaction type? Transaction ID. Let me verify, guys. I could be mixing this in a wrong table. So this table is called transaction, right? It has got the ID. It's pulling up the employee ID, which I might want to say employee number so that we don't have any mistakes. Customer ID. And the transaction type coming from the transaction type table. There we go. That was where my mistake was. It has to have ID at the end. Okay. Save. Yes, because it's still just employee and customers. So back to the relationship. this last one that has not been implemented. That's where we're saying from the table transaction type, give us transaction type ID. On this table, it's also called transaction type ID. Press OK, close this, save. Two tables are affected by this. Done. Now, if we refresh here, you can see our tables are there. Let's see if it will allow us to create views. Okay, doesn't allow us. So I can close this, don't save, bring it back again. Basically, that's the end of the session, but I will infuse it with some ASP.NET. I'm not going to use the core one. I'm just going to use the native ASP.NET web application, so that you then get to picture all of this. Okay, so from my things, I'm going to go and say, show me the view, and I want the views of all the tables. Right, let me add all of them in no particular order. And then we'll see if we have the relationship that I want. Everything must be connected, right? Top to bottom. Okay, let me minimize here. Let's see. So transaction, as you can see, transaction is the one that is holding a lot of relationships here. Right? So it's feeding or it's getting information from 3 tables already. So it gets information from the transaction type. It gets information from who is the, okay, this is the employee. The employee who's making that transaction, right? That employee obviously has a position in the company. And then what else, where else? Okay, it also gets information about which customer is being assisted at that particular time. So putting this all together in a nice formatted way, so that you see all of this. Okay, there we go. So here's my transaction table. Put this one, oh, this one needs to feed to 2 tables, so put it like that and like that. Okay, so this is our relationship. So let me explain the relationship here. Where do we start? So every table that looks at the end, that's basically where you will start. When you're creating, when you're inputting values. Now, if you check, this one gets information somewhere and send it somewhere as well. So you can't start with this table. This one gets information somewhere from here, right? So you can't start with this one. This one sends information to this one. Are you with me? So the one with the key is the one that sends information somewhere else. So where you see the key, that means this account type, it's gonna send the details of the accounts to when we're creating what? The account. Right? That means now the account is gonna send the account number to what? To the customer. Are you with me? Then the customer will send the customer ID to transaction. You can see the relationship, and then the transaction, is it sending something? It's not sending, You can see it's all main on its side, The transaction also will receive an employee number, whereas an employee number is also receiving what? An employee position, right? Lastly, as you can see, the transaction is also going to be receiving what? The transaction type. Done. You can either be a good developer or a good database designer. Any questions? No questions? Trying to put this in one picture. So basically that is how you create relational databases. Now, if your database has been created nicely like this, your job is almost done on any programming platform, right? especially for using MVC. You don't have to put a lot of effort. You can easily like start working from that moment. Okay, so if I go and say create a new project, just start my Visual Studio, have issues also. Now the assignment you are supposed to submit, it's exactly this one. Ne? Don't submit any other thing. I want a submission of a project that communicates with the database. Because you already have these details, so it will be easy for me to run it from my computer. Don't ask later which project are we creating, what. Okay, so here's the app I'm going to be creating. I'll call it the same name, Relational Friday Tender. Create this as an MVC application. I'll leave every authentication like that and let Visual Studio do its own thing. Okay, so all I need to do from here is connect my Visual Studio to the app, to the database in fact. So you use the same details that we have been using here. So the same IP address, same connection type. So there we go. Connection type will be this one, and I'm using Friday with the password 123. Then from here I just need to pull up relational database. Let's see if it will load. There it is. It's loading. That's the one I want. Test the connection. Things are okay. Press fine here. My database connection string will be loaded here just now under the properties. Okay, as you can see, my connection string is here. I'll copy it and go paste it into the web.config file. There we go, and I'll look for the connection. Let me just agree to this. I don't know what it is for, but agreeing is always the best. Then I'm going to look for a connection string somewhere here if it exists. I'm not getting anything here. Ooh, this could be difficult. This could be difficult. I'm not getting any connection string at all. Okay.
So I think you need to edit inside the configurations.
Yeah, I will edit. I will edit. I wanted the simple one where I just have to paste it. Either way, web.config. Let me use previously used resources. This will be under the C drive. Users, me, source, repos, and then I'll look for Terra COVID screening, and I'll look for web.config. Let me open this with Notepad++. I want to see the connection string there. And then just simply copy that portion. Okay, under configurations, configuration settings, then there's this, then there's connection string. We start from here to here. Done. So it's under what? Configuration settings, in some section there. So configuration settings. Done. So I need to copy also the configuration settings. Okay, so all this portion before we get to the app settings could be needed. Right, but then this connection string that I'll be having here, this one here, it's quite wrong. So I need one that speaks to my current connection string, which is this one. Copy this, take it to my web.config. Under my connection string, that's what I will put up there. And then the password, don't forget the password for Friday was 123. Hopefully this works. I'll save everything, build my application, build, okay, it says everything is fine. let me go to the views, shared layout. This is where I'll find the title and everything. I just want to add all the things that I will need. How many tables do I have in total? 7 tables. So I need to have 7 links. Okay, the first one, we'll just call it transact. Okay, and then I want all pages to land on index. So wherever it was landing on, I'm changing so that it lands on the index page. But the views here, I will change what view is that. So let's say this one is customers. I'll deal with employees, account type. What was the other one? Account what? Transaction type. Transaction. Type. The other one? You have the one with tables, guys. What? We already have transaction. Our home page will be transaction. We have employees. We have customers. We have account type. We've got a transaction type. Position. Last one. You said there are 7. Accounts. Okay, then I'll come back to add the views later on. Let me just save this. Play around my index page here. I don't want anything here, especially this jumbotron. I don't like it. Out. In fact, I don't like anything here. So my landing page should just be empty. Or we can do an H here. Let's do an H3. Let's say welcome to our bank. Okay, from there, those changes doesn't really do anything, so it will build very quickly. Under models, I'm gonna go say add ADO entity data model, call this bank model, press OK. The EF designer from database, yes. It's gonna look for connection strings. I will set it up here again using these details, if you still remember them. This one where I copied the IP address. Back to Visual Studio. Here it is, like that. Username is Friday. Password is 123. The database that we're looking for, we can search it here. And then that's the one. Test connection. Everything looks okay. Press OK. I just have to agree here to include sensitive data. Let's use entity framework number 6. I will click all the tables. Done. Now this is going to take some few minutes. But when it's done, it's supposed to bring me back here. Show me this view. Ne? It must show me that this is what we picked up on your tables. Do you want to continue with this? I then continue and add my controllers after building. Okay, you can see it has picked up all of my tables, right? moment it is busy showing me the relationship, how their account type is related to account in a one-to-many relationship. Account is sending information to customers. One-to-many relationship, same applies to transaction, same applies to this other table. So all of my 4 tables have been identified. All I need to do is build. Very important to build at this stage. If you don't build, your things are not going to be really fine. Okay, let me just confirm one last time. Build. Okay, from there, you don't have much to do. You just have to add the controllers. And when you add the controllers, you don't really have to build. So add controllers with views like this. Then you pick up which controller do you want, right? And then which entity you want. You can see the entities here. And then let's start with the transaction one. We just add. Okay, let's wait for it. It's still installing some stuff. Okay, it's done installing. It's now scaffolding. But most of the work has been done on database design. So when we get to programming, we have not even written a single code here. So you can see my first controller has been added, which is the transaction controller. Okay, so I'll add another controller. I must add 7 controllers, by the way, right? Each table for each controller. So let's go for customers. This should be quick because it has already installed the packages. Add another controllers with views. You are now just targeting tables. Employee position. That means I'm left with employee now. Add controllers with view. Employee. There we go. Add. I've added 4 so far. So I'm left with 3. That 3 should be anyone to remind us. Accounts, I think. This is number 5. So we've got account, customer, employee position, employee, and the transaction. What am I missing? Account type. Ooh. Let me look for it. Account type. And the last one? What? Transaction. It's already here. Transaction type. Transaction type. Now, what is left now is for me to connect these controllers with the views. Okay, done. So you will see these are all the tables, including the home table that we'll find. This is the model. Let me build. Make sure we get a nice message here. Everything looks okay. Now you can see now the views are all here. And the one I'm gonna be editing is the shared one. You see here we were all saying they're arriving at home, right? That's not the true nature. Now they must arrive exactly at the name of the folder. So wherever this account type here, this is the name of the folder. Accounts, wherever we're loading accounts, that's the name of the folder. Wherever we're loading transaction type, which is this one, no longer home, it's now this one. And where we're loading transaction, I think it's at the top, this one. Where else? I still have some few homes here. Customers. So this will be customers. I think also employees. It's going to be loaded on employees. Left with one, which is employee position. Employee position. Done. Okay, save everything, and that's the end of our lesson. Build. If we get one succeeded, we're good to go. We can start running our app. Hopefully that database connectivity will work. Not really sure. The only thing that can delay us now is just that, because when I loaded the template, that thing was not there. So if it doesn't load, we know it's not speaking to the database. There are some connection issues that we must deal with. We didn't even turn off the custom errors, so it won't tell us where we went wrong. Welcome to our bank. That's basically all the links we have, and it's arriving at transact. Okay, which one can we start with here? Transaction type, right? Let's see if this arrives. There we go. So the transaction type, this is what we mentioned, whether someone is making a deposit, create this, or someone is making a withdrawal. What other functionality do we do at the bank? Balance, né? Balance inquiry. What else? What? Loan. What else? What do you do when you go to the bank? Statements. Okay, let's leave it like that. Let's create positions for these employees. I'm going to create manager. What other one? Teller. Yeah, let's leave those two like that. Account type. Savings. Remember, these things are going to the database, by the way, né? Savings. Check. How do we write check? Check pure. It's not the one. It's not even suggesting. Let's create this one. It's check. We have current. Okay. I think we're good. We can go now and hit what? The employees, ne? I think we can create employees. So I already have some dummy values here. Let's say rent, back. Yes, I'm the manager. Then we can select another person. Just say Teresa, and this one is a teller. Create. Okay, those are enough employees. Now we can go to do add accounts first. Ooh, we made a mistake. Yeah, we made a mistake. Okay. This doesn't happen anyway, but I'm just realizing it now. So we have an account. This account doesn't have anyone, right? Right? If you can pick up the mistake, good for you. But you can see we are creating an account here. but it's not associated with anyone, no customer at all. So I can create this account, and I can create another one and say this one is 1,000, and it's a check like that. Create another one and say this is current, and it has got 20,000 or 2,000. Press create. You can see that these accounts have no customers. You get it? So that's the mistake I'm speaking about. So maybe we should have revisited the customer and the account when we're doing this database to say how are they really related. Do we start with an account or we start with a customer? Ideally, we should have started with a customer, right? But these have got account numbers, by the way. So if we go to the customers now, and we say we're creating a customer, you can say I can pick up an account number for this customer. I can say this customer account number is this one, right? Which would be the one I think with 1,000. Ne? Cell number I can put there. Ooh, oh, that's a string, so it will work. 084 555 667. Physical address, let's see, land bank. Full names and what. You can put another one. Tinashe Panya. And then we can just pick up another email and create. There we go. Now this customer is now being associated with that account, which is what you want to see. What this is account what ne? But I'm sure it's this account with 1,000 rand. Now let's go and transact, because I think that's the only thing left. Create a transaction. This is where it gets lit. To say, oh, here we should have put a date, ne? So it's going to be difficult to pick up a nice date here. So let's just say 11/12/2021. Maybe it will work. This one was depositing. The other functionality we can put to say if you select deposit, we're going to give you a block for an amount. How much are you depositing, right? And things like that. Then we hit create. There we go. Basically, that's your assignment on that relational thing. But I don't want to see this. Ne? So, like, I'm not saying submit this. This can just be your additional supporting documents in case you are scared that your app will not be running. So you can take a screenshot of this and attach it. You know you can attach many files when you're submitting, right? So you can attach this. Don't attach the code and show me that your code is running. No. This one, you build it up, then you publish it in a folder, then you attach it as a zipped file. That's the end of the lesson. Any questions?